Alright guys, I'm Justin.
I'm Carl.
I'm Eric.
And on today's episode, we're going to go over some items that do not have Blu-ray releases. They've been stuck on DVD, maybe even some on VHS, and we would love to see them on Blu-ray. So this is our plea to the companies out there to hopefully see if we can get some of these on the shelves of stores and internet lovers alike. So this is episode 10 of Welcome to Horrorland. Thank you all for tuning in. Let's get started.
Peace.
Welcome to Horrorland.
Alright, so we were coming off the cusp. 2024, weird year. So, you've got Best Buy, Target, they quit carrying physical media.
Yep.
Yet you have companies like Synapse doing Grail releases of Trick or Treat. You have The Hitcher is finally arrived on 4K. Those are Grail releases for a lot of horror movie fans and a lot of people for their physical media collections. But even with that, there's so much that doesn't exist. So this is kind of our list that we've compiled. I have a lot of stuff actually with me since we're filming this here. Carl and Eric, I think, have just kind of made lists. But this is just stuff that we would like to see on Blu-ray, or maybe even 4K. So which one of you guys want to start us off?
I'm going to.
Okay.
For sure.
I'm going to just say something before we start. How much crossover?
It's all the same.
Oh, yeah.
There's no
Probably
doubt.
a lot.
Yeah,
As I say something, y'all are going to be like, oh, God, yes. Well, I'm going to start with the elephant in the room because we've all talked about it, and that's Fright Night 2. And
Absolutely.
It's a travesty and some kind of thing against nature that this does not exist as a Blu-ray. I'm extremely pissed off about it, and it should have been done.
Put Men on the Moon. We
Years
can't make
ago.
a freaking Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If any of y'all haven't seen this movie, it's, for me personally,
It's on par with the first.
It's on par with the first one for me. I mean, Jerry Dandridge, of course, Chris Sarandon, he elevated that movie to a little above it, possibly. But the elements in part 2, man, they really expanded that whole universe, and it is fantastic in every way.
Yeah,
I have nothing negative to say about
it
this
filled
movie.
all the holes in that you had
Yeah.
of any doubt from the first movie.
And just so y'all are aware, I don't want to get into it because it's a very long, you can go down a real rabbit hole with this. Tom Holland has really expanded that universe through comic books and every other form of media he knows to do, because nobody will let him make another movie, which I think is awesome. We don't even want to get started about that. But the point is that there's a lot of media out there now about Fright Night in the Fright Night universe. If y'all want to go do a deep dive into that, it's really cool. Some of the stuff he's done with it, I've taken a little look at it, and it's crazy. But anyway, we're going to move on.
I would love for Second Sight, someone, to get a hold of that
and
do a collection like they did The Hitcher, like a big box. It needs to be done. It
that
needs
would
a release.
print money.
It
Oh,
does. And they would do well if they did a box set of them.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just enormous. Think of how well they do all the special features and extras. Oh, man, it'd be worth the money.
Yeah.
Clearly something we've learned just recently is that people want this stuff. Trick or Treat comes out $66 for one 4K. $66.
Yeah.
They made 6,666 copies, and it's all but sold out. And it's sold out basically in 3 days. So that right there shows that horror fans want this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
There's a huge appetite for it.
Yes,
Absolutely.
And like you said, it's a travesty that some of this stuff's not out. So,
You
Carl,
gotta-
whoops, I'm sorry, Eric, I didn't mean to cut you off. What you got?
Y'all are fine.
I'm going to do a weird one that probably nobody wants to see on DVD, let alone on Blu-ray. But I love this movie. It traumatized me. It's a hard watch, and it made me kind of nauseous at times. But Martyrs. What the hell?
Yeah.
The Blu-ray that I have, the quality's okay, but it's still a or the DVD. I would love to see a Blu-ray, because some of that, especially, I can't really say much because it'll give things away, but especially the basement part of the movie where there's all these different textures and lighting and different components going on. I think this would look great on Blu-ray, look great on 4K. Yeah. And like I said, I know it's a really just a divisive movie. Some you love it or you hate it. There's no middle ground. It's the extreme end of like torture.
Well, there's a third avenue than that. I don't never heard of it. So
I mean, Martyrs would be a good one because it's not an English-speaking movie, so it would be another one that falls in that category of Second Sight because they just did High Tension.
Yeah.
They just did Inside.
And High Tension. I love High Tension.
High Tension I love.
Well, then you'll like Martyrs.
Yeah, High Tension.
I mean, Martyrs is good. It does have I think it has a Blu-ray from Umbrella, but it was like one of their like very first releases before they really got to where they were good doing what they were doing. It's not very good, like you touched on. And again, as we touched on last week with some of our stuff in the box set episode, the U.S. is just not getting this stuff.
No.
I mean, like Umbrella, they are. Is Umbrella they Australia?
Umbrella's Australia.
So I
yes,
mean,
absolutely.
Australia, they are getting this kind of stuff,
Yes.
and we are not. So I mean, that's the kind of stuff we're dealing with. So.
Well, it's because what they're doing, they're selling individual freaking 4Ks for $45 a piece, and you can buy the Blu-ray box set from Australia for $100.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm trying to avoid doing all the insanity, with buying individuals.
I'm failing miserably.
But I will say, if Martyrs came out in Blu-ray or 4K, I don't care what it costs them buying.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
It's a hard watch because it's subtitled. Yeah, there's an American version too, but
a remake, yes,
a remake, but it's not great.
Mm-hmm. My first one, we're just going to go ahead. I feel like this is another White Whale in the Wild, and this is actually a bootleg. Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2.
Oh, you jerk! That's the one I had up next.
I'm sorry.
Look at the order I had these in.
Look, first one on my list.
That is hilarious. I had Fright Night 2 and then Hello, Mary Lou.
This is actually a very good-looking bootleg.
It sure is, yeah.
But, again, this does not have... I mean, this is DVD quality all day, every day. So... where is this on Blu-ray? I know that a lot of people have asked for it, and actually, we don't have Prom Night 3 or 4 on Blu-ray either.
No.
They have a combo DVD, and again, the quality is crap because it's one of those, like, I think both movies are on one disc.
Yeah.
It's just not very
Super
good.
compressed.
And stuff like this, again, I have a bootleg, but bootleg is, it's bad.
Yeah.
Bootleg, no. But people have to resort to stuff like this in order to get these movies. And, I mean, the amount of money people have spent on this bootleg, if someone had the numbers behind that, I think it might change some people's minds to pull this out of the vault and give us a 4K, give us a Blu-ray. I mean, I'd take a Blu-ray box set. It doesn't even have to be a 4K.
It doesn't have to be 4K.
No, I would take a Blu-ray box set of 2, 3, and 4, and I would be perfectly happy.
Because I don't know that those would serve well as a good transfer for 4K.
Probably not. I don't know.
Maybe, but
it's possible. I don't know.
I'd be satisfied, like you said, 2, 3,
That
and
could
4
be
on
an
Blu-ray.
individual release, I can tell you right now.
Oh,
It would
easily.
Sell
I was
Easily. Again, Trick or Treat, 6,666
the
copies.
blatant nudity in that movie alone is enough to sell a lot of copies.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now.
Hooters sell.
All right.
Okay, am I up next? Well, you stole my next
I'm
one.
sorry.
I'm just so mad about
We didn't go over our lists.
Oh my God, that hurt my soul when I heard you name that one.
I'm sorry.
Okay, well, for my next one,
We got so many to
I
get.
know.
And
I
I
was-
deliberately tried not to.
Gosh, I don't know where to go next. I think I'm going to go with The Keep. For a lot of people, I know that for your average horror goer, they're not going to know what that is. But for those of us in the know, it's a very, very good, creepy movie set during World War II.
Yep.
Is that correct? Listen to these names in this movie. I just wrote down a couple because I knew I would forget if I was to sit here and leave it to myself. Scott Glenn's in this movie, people. Anybody know Scott Glenn? I bet
From
you do.
everything.
Now, here's a name all of you are going to know. Ian McKellen. What are we talking about here? X-Men. Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
That ring a bell for anybody? He's in this movie. It's weird. I'm not going to lie. That movie is extremely weird.
But it's good.
But it's good. It's atmospheric.
Yeah.
It's well done in every way.
It's a suspenseful movie. More.
Yes, it
it's
is.
not a slasher. So don't. If you're looking at blood and gore, you need to look somewhere else.
Somewhere else. I ain't gonna go so far as to pull a Fright Night on you and say it's a travesty. This isn't on Blu-ray. I get why it's not. It's a little bit more obscure. Fewer people have heard of it. But it's an excellent movie that really deserves one. I can honestly say that.
The rumor mill, I will say this, the rumor mill has it that could be coming to Blu-ray from Vinegar Syndrome
Get out of
on
here.
Black Friday. That's the rumor mill. That has not been confirmed. So if this video will drop before Black Friday. Do not quote me on that. But that has been a topic that has been covered on YouTube by a couple of other people. So we might actually get that one on Blu-ray. But if we don't, it's still on the list. It's still one that has not been out. And why has it not been out? I mean, we have such dumb stuff that gets Blu-ray releases, and stuff like this does not. It's absolutely insane. So.
I know, and I mean, I get it. I mean, people are like, y'all don't know what goes into it, and they're right, we don't. But and I get that a lot of it's tied up with rights issues.
Yeah,
I've talked to people
and
that
popularity.
Like,
I'm sure. Will it sell enough to make it worth their while?
I mean, I said a little bit to Tom Holland about it when we met him at Scarefest, and he was like, he goes, so much of this stuff, he said, is tied up in rights issues. You got 2 or 3 studios with a finger in it, and they're like, if I don't get enough piece of it, nobody's getting it.
And who's special, special commentaries and so forth make it? Do they all make it? Does
So it's a whole thing. But anyway, next up.
Okay, I'm going to do one that I love and get on my soapbox for a minute. Strangeland by D. Snyder.
I was going to say you should do that one. See, because this is all
I like that movie.
I love that movie. And I'll be honest with you, here's why it pisses me off to no end. D. Snyder is not a Hollywood insider. He's a contrarian to Hollywood. He's everything they don't want. He's independent, strong-minded, he's talented. Some of the big things people probably don't understand about him, and it's hard to put it together when you look at his band, his music, and his movie. He's a big-time Christian, but he doesn't put up with shit from anybody. It's his way or no way. So we will probably never see a Blu-ray of this, but I'm telling you, having Captain Howdy on Blu-ray, bringing a better picture quality and life to some of those scenes in that movie would be
There's a lot of blacks in that movie, isn't there?
There is dark.
Very, very dark room.
And a lot of fire and lit light.
Yes.
And
I feel like that
ambience.
movie would be best served with like a Screen Factory standard edition.
Yes, I
no
agree.
slipcover, like a brain scan. Like I would love to see, but the standard editions, they don't have as many special features.
Right,
so if you kind of keep him out of that and they just resurface the print of the film and put it on Blu-ray and give us a couple of commentaries and things, but maybe we keep D. Snyder out of that a little.
So you're
bit
thinking more along the lines of like a Wolfen release where they didn't release the cover, and they just give you a commentary, and they're like, "Here you go."
See, I'd be fine with that because there's not a lot of special commentary out there. There's very little on the disc itself. A little partial to it. I love the movie, but I met D. Snyder in 2017 at Days of the Dead in Indianapolis, and dude did me a solid. He gave me the movie, the book, and 4 8x10s, and signed them all for $100 plus his autographs. I mean,
D. Snyder was at Nashville.
Just a good dude.
The Nashville Full Moon Tattoo. He's a super cool guy.
He's just a good dude.
Cool. So we'll do this one next. My next one I'm going to do is another bootleg, Clown House. So this movie,
I haven't heard of this one, so I'm down to hear about it.
Oh wow!
No, I haven't ever seen it.
Clown House is an extremely creepy, very kind of scary movie for people who don't like clowns. But I'm not going to dive into it on this channel. But we know who the director is. We know what the director did. I know very well, and I think Carl would agree since Eric's never heard of this one.
Yeah.
I know why this one does not have a Blu-ray. I know why we'll probably never see a Blu-ray. I'm well aware. But I would like to think that maybe someday it gets released. Maybe after he is, I hate to say it this way, but yes, maybe after he is gone and some of that controversy kind of dies down. But I mean, the fact still remains of what he did, and like I said, I know why this is not available, but it does suck for those of us who do enjoy this movie, because this is like a very probably one of the creepiest clown movies I've seen. Just very dark, very kind of scary, really good watch.
And unfortunately, it wouldn't surprise me if the DVD went out of print and you could never even buy that.
Oh yeah, the DVD is out of print.
Is it completely out of print?
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, it goes for like $30-$40, completely out of print on that. And like I said, I mean, the Blu-ray, the only reason I have this in a Blu-ray case is because it's a bootleg. Somebody made this out of Brazil, believe it or not. And all it is a direct rip of the DVD. That's all it is. But I would
it's good. It's creepy.
Very creepy. That outside with like the clowns like creeping around the tree and the boys going look like that is... I mean, again, I was probably 7 or 8 when I first saw that, and it's like, holy hell, like that is, it was very creepy.
20 plus years later, and it still stands up.
Yeah.
That says something.
Yeah.
You know, and it goes back to what I said once before. A lot of this stuff is a sentimentality kind of thing. It's why we love what we love.
Yep.
Okay. For my next release, or hopeful release, I guess, I'm going to the way back clock to about 1982. Carl will know this movie. I don't know if you will or not. Called Extra.
Yep.
Extra. Well, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not, like I said, I'm like Carl. I don't want to give anything away for anybody that hasn't seen it. I will dare you to watch the first 15 minutes of that movie, though, and not feel a little vomit come up in your throat. I watched a double bill of that and The Gates of Hell, and I didn't sleep for about a month after that.
I saw that on one of my first dates with Janet, and you know what we saw it with? That and The Evil Dead at the Lone Oak Drive-In, sitting in the back under the oak trees.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But anyway, it's
not much of a man that night.
For those of you keeping tabs here, this is an alien movie. It's you could technically say, well, it's more into science fiction than it is horror. It's a horror movie. Trust me, it's a horror movie.
Yeah.
It's not for the faint of heart, but it is a exceptionally good scary movie, and I cannot believe, because there's been sequels to this, people. It's not like it's like one and done and nobody ever heard of it again. There's been like 3, 4.
Because I know Extra 3 has a Vinegar Syndrome release.
Yeah.
And Extra actually has, again, it's a Blu-ray, but it is from Second Sight in the UK. It is Region B.
Yeah.
So, like, again, America, where is our releases?
Yeah.
I mean, you're forcing people to buy from other countries.
Yeah.
But,
and we're fine with that because they're cheaper.
Yeah, but at the same time, you're like, if you would just put it out yourself, you could have that money. Like, capitalize on what people want. I mean, that's the whole purpose of this video. This is... I guess kind of our bitch fest video.
Absolutely, yes.
This is, you know, you look at these other countries and you say American movies are being put out in Britain, they're being put out in Australia, and they're not even being put out in the country of which they are. And I get rights issues, but like, come on.
I do.
Some of this stuff is just insane.
Something to say about that. They're being put out in Britain.
Oh, yeah.
They have the single strictest laws for horror and porn in the world.
Yeah, I mean, that's where the video nasties come from.
Yeah, video nasties come from. That's
exactly it's unreal. And they're getting films that we can't. It goes back to corporate greed. I mean, we can bitch all we want to, but it goes back to corporate greed.
And there's an added problem with having foreign sites do these things. It's not really with the films themselves, it's with the extras. I don't know if y'all ever encountered this. But especially, and nothing against Australian people, okay, I love Australia, because it's probably going to sound like I hate them. It's not true. A lot of those interviews that are done with the cast and crew are done by Australian actors or interviewees, and I can't understand some of the things they say because I'm not familiar with the slang, and it's in a dialect a little bit different from my own. Just like I'm sure some of them would listen to me talking right now and be like, I can't understand what that dude's even saying.
I don't know what the hell he said.
But you know, and that's a problem I have with these releases being done in Australia, and a lot of them are done in New Zealand too. I mentioned that. But anyway, getting all the way back to where we was at, Extra is my pick for one that really deserves a release. What you got there, Carl?
Well, I've got. Oh God, I'm torn. One of them's a movie everybody here hates, but me, and I like it. I don't think it's a horrible movie. That May.
Oh yeah, I'm not familiar with.
Nobody likes it.
I don't like May.
It's weird.
Yeah,
it's a little girl that is not deformed, but
she's got like a lazy eye, right? Yeah, lazy eye.
She sees perfection in certain parts of people, but not their whole body, and then the only thing that's really perfect, sort of little porcelain doll.
But she likes this boy.
She thinks is perfect. No, she likes his hands.
His hands. That's right, it's his hands. Yeah,
and you know. Is it silly? Yeah, but there's just something about it. Just this wide-eyed innocence this girl has that she can make her a perfect person.
Yeah.
And I get it, but I would love to see that in Blu-ray.
Sounds like that was done earlier in pieces.
Yeah. It's similar. Yeah, very, very similar. And it's just, and there it goes back. It's a good movie now. it's a good
thing
memory.
about that one
it was
is,
a
though,
good time with a good memory, and there you go back to personal sentiment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that I would love to relive that memory in a better picture quality.
That's also one, again, has a second sight Blu-ray that is region B, but the thing about it is, I purchased that. And the synopsis was great because I was like, this sounds like it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And then I got it and I didn't care for it.
Yeah.
But, you know, just the premise of it is very intriguing, I feel like. Just
Yeah.
like when you watch the trailer and then you
Better
watch
executed would have been.
Yeah.
To me, it was kind of slow.
It
It was kind of slow. But, I mean, a lot of things are slow burns. It doesn't make them bad movies. It just
Exactly.
wasn't for me. I will do this one. Now, this, so I have to be honest, I think this had a Blu-ray once upon a time, and it went out of print, but I would love to see it come back. Another bootleg here is Night of the Scarecrow. Not to be confused with Dark Night of the
I was
Scarecrow.
about to say the
made for
exact
TV
same
movie.
thing.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say
No,
too.
Because
this
that
is
has a screen release.
Dark Knight.
Scarecrow.
Yep. No, this one came out on Olive Films back in the day. Olive Films released a couple of these that are on this list, and that company is no more. But this one, I like Scarecrow movies, and this one, while it's not great, the Scarecrow looked cool in it. It's got kind of a creepy fall vibe because it takes place in the corn, kind of a cult, I think, kind of deal
Yes,
going
I
on.
remember the movie. I
So-
actually saw it on a weekend. It was fun. Yeah.
This one, I love the VHS cover for this. Like the Scarecrow is like on his cross, and it's like the purple cover, and I've always really enjoyed that. But I like this movie, but it's one that again went out of print and has never been seen again, and it had a very small print run. So this one, I would love to see have a slip-covered edition from Vinegar Syndrome or anyone like that. Definitely one that I don't feel very many people got their hands on when it was out.
For my next, I'm actually going to double it up because they're both made by the same company. And I'm going to be honest, these are two fairly obscure releases. They were released in the 90-ish area, maybe late 90s, maybe even 2000s, I don't know. You might have heard them. I don't think that you're going to hear of these two, but one is called Rogue, and the other one is called Black Sheep.
Black Sheep, I've heard of.
They were made Dimension Extreme.
Exactly.
Yep.
Dimension Extreme.
Yep.
All of their releases were done in DVD, and no Blu-rays were created of any of that brand. Not one. I've looked and looked and looked. I even looked
Didn't
it
they go out
up.
of business? They got bought out by somebody.
Yeah, like I think Dimensions Extreme. They did what, like 10 movies?
They did
like
10
8
movies,
or 10 movies, and then
all of them were Blu-ray or DVD, releases.
Yeah, and I think they put them out on like a pack with like all of them. And then that's like you said, that's all they ever did.
And here's the shocker about that one. You know what that company's based out of? Australia.
Oh, there you go.
Why the hell do we not have one of
I'm
those?
saying. Now, to give you just a really brief synopsis of both of them, so I don't take up too much time. Rogue is about a gigantic, is it a crocodile or alligator?
It's crocodile.
I don't know. They're both the same.
To me, they're interchangeable.
They both have a snout and eat humans.
Yes, but this sucker's humongous, and they did a fantastic job of rendering the alligator / crocodile.
Well, they should in Australia.
Black Sheep.
Good night, Mike.
Black Sheep is a comedy, and it's hilarious, but it is the weirdest movie I've seen in a while. It's about the government there. I think this was set in New Zealand, if I'm not mistaken, because that's what they're famous for, is sheep.
Yeah.
And the government there was experimenting on the sheep, and something happens, and one of them gets out and intermingles with regular sheep in this dude's backyard, and they all become killer sheep. And it is the funniest crap you'll see in a while. They do both have special features, because I own both of the DVDs. And I can tell you both DVDs have special features to them. But the whole thing needs a 4K release. They ought to release all the Dimension
in a box set.
In a box set. I would pay
I'd
a
buy that.
lot of money for that. I'm just going to tell you, if y'all are hearing this, I would drive us broke getting that set, because all of those movies were fantastic.
They were.
Really well made, considering the budgets they had to work
Which
with.
are minimal to nothing.
And so I highly recommend it. But anyway, I will pass the baton.
I'm debating which one. Probably Toolbox Murders. Did you ever see that?
I have seen that.
The original?
Yeah.
The original is on a Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Is it
Blue
now?
Underground.
When did who has it?
Blue Underground.
Blue Underground.
Why did I not know that?
Yes.
Oh.
I think I own it, as a matter
Because I didn't put, because I lost all those movies is why. I had a box set of those weird ass movies that all came out at the same time.
Now there is a remake
of that. Yeah,
the remake may not have.
No, it just
Yeah, and see, I thought that's what the Blu-ray was the remake.
The remake was a Ghost, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
it was terrible.
Yeah, it was
the
terrible.
original
It was terrible.
Toolbox Murders has not only a Blu-ray, it also has a 4K.
See, I didn't even know that.
As
Was
well.
when I
Yes.
lost those. I didn't lose them. Somebody stole them. I loaned out a ton of movies, and some of those, like 10 movies, and some of those were ones we bought.
Yes,
like the
yes.
1031s.
Yes.
That got loaded up with them, and I've never seen them since. Well, now I know I can replace that.
Carl
We
did not
made Carl's
understand the
day.
assignment.
Yeah, that's not unusual. Huh? That hurt me in my heart, guys. Right there. Let's just move along. I'm trying to suffer through this.
What you got next for us down there, man?
I've got another one that did have a Blu-ray, but let's just talk about this for a second, and that is Near Dark.
Oh my God, that doesn't have a Blu-ray.
Okay, so Near Dark has a Blu-ray,
Okay.
but
It's a
but,
let's
like
talk
the big
about
but.
it. Let's talk about it for a second. I have never seen a movie with a shittier cover in my entire life.
Is that the one
had
with the sitting on the car
The
cover?
Twilight,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
it looks
yeah.
like Twilight.
Yeah,
it is
yeah,
awful.
yeah.
And it is out of print now. It is extremely out of print. But I have a bootleg here, and the bootleg cover
Looks
is
better.
phenomenal. Give me this cover art and give it to me in a 4K. Which
Yeah.
I have heard Second Sight is doing, but again, that is not confirmed. But like, I would love for this movie to get some love because it's actually a really good vampire movie.
Yeah, it is.
So I would
Bill
love to see.
Paxton, Lance Henriksen.
Yeah.
Catherine
But
Bigelow, that was her first feature film, if I'm not mistaken, who's went on to win
Possibly,
Academy Awards.
I refuse to give $50 or $60 for that cover though. Like,
No, because they
and
were so.
I will find and I will place that cover up on the screen right here.
That's
So
funny.
yeah, that's the shit that got
Yeah.
released.
And it's
Yeah.
terrible because they're on that white car.
It's
and they're all
awful.
like,
I'll never be able to look at it again without thinking of Twilight.
And he's like,
That's funny.
yeah, like the guy on the cover is like white, like a
Yeah,
ghost, and
yeah.
they're like looking into each other's eyes, and I'm like, the hell, this is
All you're missing is some sparkles in your
Yes, God, it's awful. And I'm like,
farts.
no, not at all.
Oh,
Oh,
gosh.
for real.
For my next, I've got two that I'm really fighting over which one I want to do. I think I'm going to go with Cube. Has anybody heard of that?
That's
particular
good.
film?
I like that. Yeah, and there's 4 of those now.
There's
None of
4
them
of
have a
them, and
Blu-ray.
they would make an exceptional box set.
It was good
Because
movie.
Hypercube, which is the second one, is as good, if not better, than the first one.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to tell y'all right now, and I'm sure people will be like, that's wrong, Eric, that's not true. Saw movies, they ripped off Cube. I'm here to tell you.
They did.
It's a blatant ripoff of Cube. The only difference is that you don't have a central dude, whatever his name
Yeah,
is.
just Jigsaw.
Yeah, they're thrown in a room and then given quests to do in order to survive. You know, and it's the same concept, just done executed a little differently. It's an exceptional movie. If you're wondering who's in it, nobody you ever heard of in your life, because I looked it up. And and none of the sequels, none of these people ever
No.
made it on anything else. But it's
And that's what made it good.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, you know, you never heard of them again, and those movies are fantastic. I'm
they
here
are.
to
They're
tell you.
creepy on a new level.
They're very creepy, and you leave the first one. I left the first one going, oh, that's aliens. Aliens got them
Yeah,
guys, you know. And then the second one, there's like an ominous voiceover, and you're like, okay, it's people, and then you still don't know.
You don't know
So,
who
but
it
anyway,
is.
I'll hand it over to Carl. Maybe he's got something that's not already released on Blu-ray.
Wolf Creek.
Oh, you stole that off my list.
That movie is it almost falls into, I don't do torture stuff. I really don't. I don't like Hostel in movies of that ilk. It just makes me uncomfortable. I don't know why, but I did like Wolf Creek, and
That's just because of the main actor.
he's just a badass.
He is bad to the bone,
When
man.
he said, "Oh, that doesn't hurt. This hurt," you know.
His name was Mick, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I thought it had good cinematography to it, and I think if you see a movie that's filmed good on DVD, it just deserves a shot.
Well, that's because Australia's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
And they filmed all that open
in the
desert.
outback and all
it was
that.
beautiful.
It was gorgeous, and I thought that deserves
A lot of sunsets.
that deserves a Blu-ray at least for sure.
I agree. I actually would. I'd buy that on 4K.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah, for sure. I can't wait to hear what he's got next.
My next one is going to be The Deadly Spawn. So I absolutely love this movie. The Slug in the Blender, classic.
Yeah, oh my God.
I love The Deadly Spawn. Now, Synapse Films did put out a thing probably a year ago at this point, asking people would they buy this on Blu-ray or had they rather pay an exorbitantly more amount of money and get it on a 4K. It was like a vote thing, so I'm assuming that they have the rights of this. And actually, at Flashback Weekend in Chicago, I have spoken with Don May. He says that they do own the rights to this, and that hopefully it will be coming out soon. But Don May is very meticulous with everything that he releases. That's why Synapse doesn't do but about 3 or 4 releases a year. That's not a dig on them. He's just very meticulous. Meticulous
I'd rather
with
him
what he
take
does.
his time with it anyway.
Yeah.
So I am extremely excited about that one whenever we do get it, if we ever get it. But that's my next pick is The Deadly Spawn.
You know what I was surprised by? Now that you've said that, because that wasn't on their pre-order list when we saw them at Cincinnati. It wasn't on the table.
No. I mean, that was over a year ago that they put that out. And I mean, I've asked him both years I've seen him at Flashback because our booth is always right next to him. And I was like, is this still coming? He's like, yeah, it's still coming. And I think they were working so hard with, on the Trick or Treat release that I think everything else took a back seat. So I am excited to see what they come out of the gate with 2025.
Yeah, fantastic. It's a great release. It's one of them, but in the mid-'80s, was that 90s or 80s?
This was 1983.
That's what I thought. There was a phase in the 80s where it was like, how can, each one was trying to outdo the other for gross out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it was just boom, 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 boom. The TerraVision came out and all that other stuff. And it was weird, gross, and then,
Well, you think that's about the same time you had Squirm came out, then you had Parasite.
Yeah. They tried to make it scary, but they're like, you know what? If we can't make it scary, we're just going to make people vomit.
Just make it nasty.
But anyway. All right. My next one, and I'm going to do it before you steal it from me because I know that it's coming, is Blood Beach.
Shit.
Oh, yes. Yep. There you go.
Blood Beach is awesome, people.
I love that movie.
Think of it like this. It's the best. I actually read this, so I'm stealing it from somebody else. It's if Jaws was on the beach instead of in the water. That's what the whole concept of this movie is. And it's...
You remember the tagline?
What?
Just when you go back to the water, you can't get to it.
Yeah, I love it. And, I mean, and you would think, oh, okay, so it's a comedy. No, this sucker was played straight completely. It has John Saxon in it.
Yeah.
And
he's such a badass.
He's played a badass and everything.
Yeah.
Lord, he did karate movies for a while. He's so badass. They're like, he's such a badass. Let's throw him in some karate movies.
Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee. He kicked Bolo Young's ass.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's how much of a badass John Saxon is. But anyway, y'all should really check out Blood Beach if you want something cool to watch. You're just going to watch it on DVD, which is inferior quality. We all know that. The release itself has no special features on it. And it really could do it. I mean, you got to think, man, that movie was made early 80s. A lot. I mean, I'm not trying to be like, oh boy, everybody's dead. No, I mean, but they're dying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I mean, these people
they're older. They're in their
these
80s.
people in their 70s and 80s now. You need to be getting on it if you're going to do some special features and make a nice quality release. But all right, Carl, you can't steal that one. What you got?
Campfire Tales. Y'all ever seen that?
I have seen that. Yes.
And I've looked and I can't find a Blu-ray for.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think there is a
And
release.
Campfire Tales is great.
I think I don't even know that it has a DVD.
Not anymore. It's out of print.
So there you go.
Yeah, it's out of print. And that was one of those. I remember watching that with a bunch of friends. And I was in my teens, probably 18, 19 years old. And I remember watching that with a bunch of friends with another movie that I want out on Blu-ray. The Evil. You ever see that?
I have not. I've heard of it, but I have not seen it.
The one where the professor takes him to the house. They're going to remodel his house.
That has a Blu-ray release.
Does it? But the Campfire Tales was so much fun because the stories were good, you know.
Campfire Tales was good.
Yes.
And I thought, man, that would be great because it has so many little vignettes and stuff in it. A lot of people they could interview that they could actually make a decent sized commentary and some special features and stuff. I'd love to see that.
Screen Factory. That's where you can find
That's
the
it.
evil.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead.
So I see your Campfire Tales, and I'm going to raise you one that's not. I don't know that this is truly
Lord.
horror, but I'm going to raise you the Willies.
Willie!
Oh yeah.
So this one is just. I call this a gateway film. So like really like younger like
30 years.
like why like 8, 9, 10-year-olds. This is going to be a horror movie for them because there's not like a lot of blood or anything in this. But this is a fantastic movie. I feel like it has, I think, 3 stories. 3 kids sit around a campfire and they try to scare each other with their stories. You've got someone who, a boy who traps flies, and it's actually the same boy I think who played Donkey Lips in Salute Your Shorts. And which is I love that show, so we got to do a shout out for that. And
we're just scraping the bottom. We're talking about Donkey Lips now. Okay.
Donkey Lips is great. But yeah, the Willies. I love the Willies, and I would love for that to have a Blu-ray. As silly as it may seem, I keep that movie in my horror collection just because, like I said, I feel like that's a gateway movie. That's like if you're young and you've watched Goosebumps, that's what you're gonna watch this before you watch The Deadly Spawn. I mean, natural progression. But I love the Willies, so that's my next one.
That's awesome. I love it. Okay, my next one is it's not an obscure title actually. I watched it. I remember around 2000 maybe, something like that. It came out in 1998, called Phantoms.
Yeah. That was good.
Get this,
it's getting a 4K from Screen Factory.
Is it really?
December. Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. That's awesome. Get this. Listen to this list. I got to take off my glasses for this. Listen to these people that were in this movie. Ben Affleck, first movie. Rose McGowan, first movie. Peter O'Toole, he was the major scientist in that movie. That's a killer row of actors if I ever heard one. And this movie, up to now, has no Blu-ray release at all.
Actually, I think so. Yeah. It just came out. So I think I got the 4K of it. But yeah, it just came out.
But you had to get it.
At least I don't have to gripe to the company now that you don't have it released.
Now you can just go buy it. Screen Factory.
Now released.
ScreenFactory.com, Eric.
Well, there you go. Awesome. I'm pretty excited now, man. I'm going to go watch that again.
I'm going to dump one on you that's kind of a turd.
Uh-oh.
It's not great.
Then why are we going
I just did the Willies.
I love it. Because I love it. It's called Night Terrors. You ever seen that?
Night Terrors.
I don't think I have.
It's not great. But it's one of those things that the production on it was so bad that you couldn't really enjoy it, kind of thing. It was creepy and scary, but it wasn't great. And it was one of those sentimental things I was loved.
Okay.
Because the other night I tried to watch it on DVD.
God.
I kid you not. No, this is terrible. I put it in that big ass overpriced audio alchemy disaster I've got. You wouldn't even play it. It started out and I got the titles in the menu, but it would not play it. I was like, yeah, it's crap. So give me a Blu-ray of this so I can watch this one more time before my old ass dies. Thank you.
My next one is going to be, we'll just go in order here. My next one's going to be Joyride 2, Dead Ahead. So this is not particularly a good movie. It is better than Joyride 3, but out of the trilogy, this is the one that does not have a Blu-ray. So for completionists, I have part 1 on Blu-ray, part 2 on DVD, and then part 3 on Blu-ray. What the hell? Give me part 2 on Blu-ray. Give me a box set even. I mean, all in all...
You skip one. The middle one.
Yeah, all in all, I mean, this is not a bad... I mean, none of the 3 really are bad movies. They definitely... Part 2 and 3 become straight horror films instead of more like a thriller. I'm not sure if it's that one or part 3, though, where they strap the guy that's doing like cocaine to the front of the truck and then they ride down the highway and he goes under the underpass.
Part 3.
Is it part 3?
I think so.
I haven't seen part 2 in a long time. But, anyways, I like the Joyride movies and I would like to have part 2 on Blu-ray or a box set or something. I mean, it would be nice.
Yeah, I agree. I'm cheating them for the next one, okay? Because this just got a release, and saying we actually talked about it in the previous, but I saved it for last because it is my most anticipated movie, and I just bought it myself.
I did too. I bought it
4K.
yesterday.
That's The Hitcher, for those of you that don't know, and I just want to tell everybody out there, if you have not seen The Hitcher, it's probably the best movie you've never seen. Okay, it's got Rutger Hauer in it. It's got C. Thomas Howell in it, and that movie kicks some serious ass.
Rutger Hauer is so...
He's a badass.
He's menacing in it.
He's emotionally devoid in this movie.
He is very much.
He is
so.
the flattest.
That's not true though. He seems to be enjoying himself way too much.
Yeah, but I mean,
you see him all kind of in the backseat of the cars waving to him as he drives by and stuff.
But then honestly, that's kind of Rutger Hauer too, though, because like he doesn't have a lot of emotion in a lot of movies he plays.
That's
like,
true.
Split Second, he had
Nighthawks. You ever seen that?
Yes, I have.
I love
Split
that.
Second.
There you are. There's another movie.
Rare Breed.
That's another movie.
Yeah, I just.
But
I like Rutger Hauer. I can't think of all the
Hobo with a shotgun. He just wanted a lawnmower.
Yeah.
That's it.
You know, for me, it was to be honest with you, it was just an excuse for me to talk about The Hitcher because I've been asking this fool over here to buy it for me for 2 years now, and he's always like, "Well, it's going to cost you like your liver, probably, something like that." And
we found out it was just a pinky finger.
Yeah, it was just a pinky finger. And I mean, of course, at one point he was like, "Yeah, it's actually not where I can get it." So,
like I was gonna get him the DVD because he was like, "It doesn't even have to be the Blu-ray; it can be the DVD. I just want the damn thing."
Yeah.
And I mean, even the DVD there for a while was like,
I think I paid $25.
It was like $75.
Yeah, it's
for a little
just
bit.
crazy numbers. But it is getting an American release.
Yes,
I actually think it's released, isn't it?
If it's not, it will be really soon.
First of the year, right around there.
I chose to buy the overseas because
that's what I bought.
Once again, the American release sucks. It's gotten 2 special features on. I think that's an interview with C. Thomas Howell, if I'm not mistaken, and that's about it. And I'm like, I'll buy the overseas version. There's like 15 special features on that, plus I think 2 commentaries.
It's a huge release.
While we're bitching about this, let's just be out real honest.
Well, no, they can't see that on.
No, I'm showing this to him.
Oh, okay.
Look at the special features. That's Auburn, and that's look at the freaking difference.
But,
I'm like, why would you? You know what I'm saying? Why would you not?
Yeah. But anyway.
I digress.
I will get off my soapbox and give it to Carl because I'm sure he's got something he's very upset about.
Well, and I may be wrong that I can't find Enigma, Fulci's Enigma.
No, you're right. It does. No, it has a release, doesn't it?
Not in the U.S.
No, not in the U.S., but I think it's Vinegar Syndrome, doesn't it?
I looked and looked and looked. I can't.
I kind of think it. I don't know.
He might be right. I'm not sure.
I honestly can't remember.
And it's
on that
it's
I don't know that. I don't know that I've ever seen that.
I've got it on DVD. I'll let you
It's one of the it's Bavo. I can't say their name. It's an Italian director.
Bava.
Yeah, Bava.
And I like Fulci stuff. Just I don't know. I get real lost off in like the artsy fartsy parts of it, not so much the action adventure part. I like the way they look. They appeal to me in the way they look, and I enjoyed that movie. I like all of Fulci's movies. Now they probably have one coming out next week. Severin's got one. Oh, I was like,
no, $30 with free delivery.
Right, okay. I was flying the flag when I saw that at $80. I'm like,
he's like, I don't think I have to have it that bad.
I just spent $9,000 on Funkos.
Eric, how many more do you have?
I'm empty.
That's it. I'm done.
Well, shit. I still have several, so we're going to run through these in rapid fire. So this one has been stuck on a VHS. I don't even think it has an American DVD. This is a German DVD, and it is The Clown at Midnight. So this one's really good. The Clown at Midnight's really good. This guy basically dons a clown suit in an opera. Kind of like Phantom of the Opera, and basically kills the teens that are going to put on the production. I mean, it's lower budgeted, but it's really good. I enjoy it, and I mean, it's not super low budget, but it's not $1 million or anything like that.
Justin, you have a thing for scary clowns, don't you?
I do. I like clown movies.
Hey, I mean,
Killer Clowns is my favorite movie.
He should do a thing of him showing the room. He's got a humongous thing from killer clowns from outer space.
We can do that.
He's got a creepy thing about clowns.
You know
I
what
mean,
we
clowns
should
are the
do?
creepiest thing because
I agree, though. They are extremely
They're
creepy.
the most harmless, like most of the time. Most of the time, unless you're watching one of these movies on this list. So,
Yeah, because we could do that. That could be an episode. Show your room, show Eric's room,
Oh,
and
yeah.
mine when it's done.
there you go. So next one, again, we'll keep going rapid fire succession. Sometimes they come back. So part 1 of this has a Blu-ray from, I believe it's Olive Films, which we talked about previously with the Night of the Scarecrow, is out of print.
And they're
But
out of business, right?
They are out of business.
That's what I thought.
The only way you can even buy Olive Films is deep discount. I think they have like some
Yes.
leftover stock.
Yeah.
But part 2 and 3 of this don't have anything.
No.
I would love to get a trilogy box set of these. I don't give a shit who puts it out. I would just love to have all 3 of those because, again, much like all trilogies, they get progressively worse.
Yes.
But that's still a trilogy where all 3 are serviceable films. Part 1 is really good. Part 2 is and then part 3 is kind of a turd, but it's still it's still serviceable. It's a lot better than some other part 3s out
Wasn't
there.
the
Some stuff.
first movie, wasn't that a made-for-TV?
It
I believe
was
so. Yep.
Stephen King made
Yeah.
for TV. So
So-
it's this next one that just makes my heart.
I was actually
And
going to
I'm
name
actually-
this one right here, yes.
Because I have a bootleg Blu-ray of Sometimes They Come Back, I was actually going to do the rest of these off to the side. We'll do the rest of these together to save some time. So that we have Stephen King's Night Flyer,
Oh God, it's a great movie.
HBO film. We have Stephen King's Desperation.
Ron
Miniseries.
Perlman struggled, but it was good.
We have Stephen King's Storm of the Century.
Miniseries number 2.
We have Stephen King's Rose Red.
Is
It's
that
a good movie.
The miniseries. Yeah,
It was a miniseries, okay.
I think it was like 2 3-hour parts or something.
Yeah.
And Stephen King's Tommy Knockers.
Ah.
So if we notice a running theme there, Stephen King gets no love whatsoever.
He does not.
Night Flyer, in my
It's
opinion, is
excellent. It's better
probably
than the 5.
it's probably yes. I would agree that it's the best of the 5, but it's actually the only movie out of the 5 as well. The rest of them were miniseries.
Yeah.
But Night Flyer is fantastic, and I mean, again, this has a bootleg Blu-ray, but nothing legitimate. I don't know if it's tied up with HBO. I don't know what the deal is, but
Wasn't
this
it
one.
Miguel Ferrer?
Yes, it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would love to see this one get a Blu-ray. The rest of them I would love as well, but this one for sure. I mean, good God, this is great.
That when he revealed himself in the airport
Yeah.
in the bathroom,
Yeah.
and you saw that face, I was like, shit.
Yeah.
You know, one you're missing out of your miniseries there is the Langoliers.
Yeah,
I actually do not own the Langoliers, period.
Oh my
I
goodness!
don't. I have
You
to
talk
say.
about.
it's not
If you
good.
haven't
like the
seen
Langoliers,
that, the
but-
Langoliers is excellent. The only problem they had was that
The little world
the effects,
yeah.
they looked like Pac-Man.
Yeah.
It was the funniest shit ever.
Yeah.
Sorry about the language, but
They were
geez.
black. They're like,
Yeah.
I mean,
I have seen it, but I don't think I even have that.
It's a very good movie. It's like I said. I mean, it's got some good acting in it too. I mean,
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Bronson Pinchot.
Pinchot.
Yeah.
One that I didn't mention that I will mention, it's another white elephant, would be Brain Dead.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to see that one, or I think it's Dead Alive.
Dead Alive in the United
Yeah,
States.
so
Yes.
Peter Jackson. I mean, I didn't mention that one. I do have a German Blu-ray back here. I didn't pull it or mention it because I feel like that's on everybody's
Yeah.
list.
Uh-huh.
And I
the
mean,
bloodiest movie ever for how many decades?
I mean, the Blu-ray that I have is serviceable enough. But again, I would love to see that one get a big 4K release. And you know, I don't know. We'll see. So that is it. So if anyone from any big studios happens to happen upon our little film here or our little video on YouTube, those are our picks for things that we would like to see. And again, I mean, like I said at the beginning, I feel like we're at a very strange time for physical media. While you have less stores carrying stuff, and the big thing used to be running to the store every Tuesday to pick up your
Yeah,
new
I
releases. They
remember.
don't
It's so
come out
exciting
every
back
Tuesday
then. Yeah.
anymore. It's like every other. But while stuff like that is going on, we've never seen horror boutique labels in a better place with
That's
your
true,
with
yes.
your umbrellas, your second
Arrow,
sights, Vinegar Syndromes,
Cauldron,
Arrow.
More popping up.
Dark
Yeah.
Sky.
So surely to God, between all of those, we can get, I mean, again, just this year alone, we've got Rumpelstiltskin has been announced as is up for pre-order from TerraVision. We have Trick or Treat, which is shipping right now, and we had The Hitcher. Those are 3 Grail films just in really the probably Q3, Q4 of 2024. So hopefully 2025, maybe we can knock another 2 or 3 of these off of our list. If not, maybe 2026, who knows? We may never get them, but it would be nice.
So I can't pay my car payment.
There you go. So we'll go ahead and end this episode here, guys. We appreciate all of you tuning in. Again, follow us on all the socials down below. We'll link them. That is Facebook, Instagram, along with TikTok for Horrorland Media. Go to horrorlandmedia.square.site. We will put that website down there and buy yourself a copy of Mothershucker.
We'll sign the damn thing.
We can sign it before we ship it. All you have to do is send me an email. The email address is on the website as well. They are $25 plus shipping. We also have Mothershucker and Horrorland Media t-shirts on there as well. So make sure you go out and grab you a copy.
Got stickers and posters too.
We do. They are not available on the website because they are kind of a pain to ship. But if you email us, we can make sure that we get you one of those. We can do a PayPal or something. So there is that, guys. We do appreciate everybody tuning in this week. Make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, and the little bell notification. That way you know whenever we upload a new video. And we'll see you next time on Welcome to Horrorland.
Peace.